the Goblin Traders podcast for people who don't play Magic good, want to learn to do some other stuff good too. Now presenting Bryce Martin and Lane Johnson.
All right, this is episode 1 of Goblin Traders. And what's the rest of the title that you wanted?
The Goblin Traders podcast for people who don't play Magic good and want to learn to do other stuff good too.
Which is fantastic. Today, we thought it'd be perfect as our first meeting everyone, or if we already know you, to talk about Eldrazi, because it's a very popular thing right now. Because people say we're in hell.
Modern hell.
Modern hell. We're in Eldrazi. Because that's how it feels like right now, because that seems like all everyone freaking wants to talk about, and that's all they want to whine and scream and blah, 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 talk to Aaron Forsyth.
I've been avoiding this conversation since the Pro Tour.
If you can tell in our voice, I'm really mad right now. Because we just recorded this once before, and just like you'll hear everyone, but I thought it was just going to happen a little later. But we lost the first audio.
2 hour recording.
So we're trying it again. And so a lot of it we'll refer to as the older one, but just keep up. Like, we'll be fine. Like I talked to in the other one, I'll try not to say that a lot, but the average standard cards that are played in Modern are 0. People say 0, but it's 1 to 4, sometimes 0. Is there a set that just has no?
Wait, what?
Like, I'm trying to think of if there's a standard or a set that's been printed that has 0 cards in it in Modern. Not like 0.
I was like, it wouldn't be a set if there was 0 cards in it.
I'm sure there's like a core set that's really bad.
What about Wear and Tear was in Dragon's Maze?
Yeah, well, we got Voice of Resurgence too.
I'm sure Born of the Gods, No Destructive Reverie.
What we're doing is we're going to run Eldrazi through the gauntlet to show you it's not all bad. It's not all hell. It's just a little hell. So we'll go through. This is written by
Pablo Vitor.
This deck is really quick. It won the Open in Louisville a couple weeks ago.
Did it?
It won the Louisville Open.
Okay.
That's when White Blue really came out, because even Cedric Phillips played it. It's Affinity.
I'm sure you've all have heard of Affinity.
If you haven't, then I don't know how you found this podcast. I don't know. I you may be just some local guy, but Affinity runs a lot of artifacts, so you can see where it can outpace Eldrazi or be as quick. That's what it does. It just tries to out aggro it, but it's really expensive right now. Modern has become, I guess, what Legacy used to be, and how Legacy is a couple now, or what it is now, expensive. Affinity is expensive. It's $1,100, which is a lot to the common Magic player. Now, if you're a pro and you just get paid to play Magic, then you don't care. But $1,100, that's a lot. But hey, you get to save a couple bucks because they took Edge Champions out. For more Masters, which I guess you now spend more money. Because Masters were always, it's a harder card. It was Shards of Alara and Plane Chase. No,
Plane Chase?
No, it wasn't Plane Chase. It may have also been Plane Chase. But I know it was Tezzeret Dual Deck.
Tezzeret Dual Deck.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh gosh, it's so cool. But that's, so Master of Ethereum, I think more still Overseer, but more Master of Ethereums. Take out as champions, because against Eldrazi, it's a 2/2 for 3.
That's it. That is it.
That's it. Doesn't get hit by
protection from
removal.
colors, but that does not help against Devoid.
Get hit by removal, but game 1's a race. Game 2, I'm going to be defending the Eldrazi and what they have in their sideboard, and then after see what the other decks have in their sideboard. First is White Blue Eldrazi, which won the GP Bologna, and what was the other? It was DG
Bologna.
GP Detroit. Bologna,
Detroit, and
Melbourne, and we've had some, like, what'd you say, 1, 2 opens? Modern opens?
I'm sure that...
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm sure there's some. So, like, the GP...
one in IQ in Columbia.
Yep.
A couple weeks.
GP Bologna, White Blue...
Bologna.
It won, right? Is that what you had written down?
Eldrazi was the top 2.
Yeah.
Like, and then the bottom 3. So, it was 5 out of 8 in Bologna.
In Bologna. White Blue has, against Affinity, Gut Shot for Signal Pest, which I think Gut Shot and Signal Pest is great. But if you're like, yeah, I'll wait. Ink Moth, it's a really good one. Memnite, yeah. Memnite seems pretty okay, because sometimes I'll just play it on turn 1. But there's some really good targets with it. Yeah, well, there was Still Overseer.
Still Overseer. That was
Still
it.
Overseer. That's what you want to really hit.
Yeah, I mean, if Affinity lands Overseer and pumps it a few times,
Yeah.
it's game over.
Oh, yeah, like that seems really good. I guess not Arcbound, because they're just going to sack something, but well, it's going to what they have. Disenchant.
Your deck.
Your deck. I destroy one of your decks. And Affinity's #1 hate card of all of Modern, which actually, it's really awkward because it used to be... It's Stony Silence, by the way. It's Stony Silence. And it got not really a buyout. It didn't really get a buyout, but people are noticing, like, man...
It's good against a lot.
Like, it shuts down some early game Tron. Like, if you can get a game turn 2 against Tron, it's really good. And against Affinity, they die. Like,
yeah, if you land early Stony Silence against Affinity, then they're just stuck.
It used to be, quote me on this, 2-3 years ago, it was $1.50, but it was a hard card to find for $1.50. Now it's hovering around $10 to $15, which I think that's where it should be. For a sideboard card, we see Spellskite, which is the #1 played creature in all of Modern, and it's like 40 to 50 on some ends. Insane, but we'll get back. Red Blue, which won an IQ recently, which won the Pro Tour with JC Tao and those guys, which little team came for the Pro Tour, Citadel Story. They did great. Chalice does really well against Affinity. We've always seen. That's another card that I agree with Stony Silence. It's Chalice used to be a $16, $17 card that was hard to find, but was really, really good in Modern. But it was a sideboard card.
Yes.
Now it's a main board card and hovering. I think it went
also
down.
a Legacy card.
Yeah, like it's so good.
Legacy Mud.
Now in Legacy Eldrazi, which is Legacy Mud 2, which is, man, that's insane. Chalice is really good. Gut Shot again. And Hercule's Recall, which we learned, is an instant. So at the end of their turn, pop everything back, have a good swing, and it's really good if they sack stuff Arcbound before. And it's just
into your turn, return your board, sack your Glimmervoid.
Even maybe a combat trick, like Ink Moth.
Yeah.
So if they're doing Ink Moth, then you do it during combat. It just seems really, really good tempo play. Red Green Eldrazi, which has now became my favorite version.
Red Green has the most flavor out of.
It does. It seems like one of the worst, and that's why it's always going to be second to last, because I did these basically in order of where I thought Eldrazi was good. But Red Green has 4 World Breakers in main, which can get rid of their deck. Everything. They play Bolts, Natural State, which we've learned is an amazing card right now in the meta. Red Green, what we see, Natural State is really good. It hits a lot of their board. Like, it hits in Affinity. Is there any artifact that's more than 3? I think that's it, right? Like, yeah. So it hits their board. They don't gain the life, which in this matchup you don't need to be giving them life. That's not what you're not wanting to do. It's not like Infect when you're like, hey, you can have all the life you want. That's why Nature's comes a lot better in Infect. Ancient Grudge, Red Green plays. It's really good. For 3 mana, you're killing 2 artifacts. Really, really good. It's another promo that I think people should really get.
Promo's beautiful.
Promo's really good. And the one that everybody thought from the Pro Tour was going to be the best was the Colorless Eldrazi, which has the worst sideboard, but it does run 4 Chalices in the main, Gut Shots in the side, and probably a Pithy Needle. Maybe, kinda, I don't know. We'll just see. You'll learn that Colorless, Mono Brown, and Modern it has the worst sideboard of all together.
But if you take into consideration the 3 to 4 mainboard Chalices, if they know what they're going against, and they're on the play, that's super strong.
Yeah, like that's just really... Everybody used to say, Chalice on 0 against Affinity could shut them down. If you're on the play, it could shut them down.
And you know what you're playing against.
Yeah, it could just shut them down. But Affinity, it seems like it has a pretty good matchup. Especially like in this main board, now with the way they've been adapting. They've been all these decks you'll learn have been adapting to this new meta, which is why I think Eldrazi may not be banned. Could be, but may not. Thoughtseize is in the main. Dismembers in the sideboard. I've seen some in the main, but I really like him in the sideboard. And a card you brought up, Ensnaring Bridge.
There was an Affinity deck a couple weeks ago, or maybe within the last week, I'm not sure. That main board Ensnaring Bridge?
I've seen that, and that's been a really popular thing that people will see is now they're trying to make what they call them prison type decks, which is basically like which comes from the card Ghostly Prison, But Ensnaring Bridge, like, try not to let their creatures attack and stall them off long enough, which is really good. I think Affinity has a really good matchup here, but at $1,100, I hope it would have a good matchup.
I mean, if it's that much better having a matchup than something.
Like, it seems like a 50-50, but Eldrazi, like, Affinity maybe $1,100, and Eldrazi is $1,000. But you don't think about that because a lot of the cards you already have, like Endless Ones, you probably have a number of them. They're $6-7. Mimics, another $6-7. Cards you already have. Thought-Knots, 15 to 20. Reality Smashers, that's another 12 to 13.
If I can give anything props from Eldrazi, it's the fact that it's made Oath of the Gatewatch such a buyout set.
Yeah, and like with you owning a shop and like me working here, we'll talk about that kind of sort of. It's selling boxes of that and some Battle for Zendikar, but that's more those expeditions are a lot better. But there's some Eldrazi because you got to get. There's some Eldrazi that you run like Endless One and stuff like that if you're just wanting to pack them. But Oath is really good because it's came now. Well, I want an expedition, but if I hit Eldrazi, that's fine too. And then it's become a really good money set right now. Yeah, you get them. It's really, really smart. But we'll talk about another deck that we've seen rise through the ranks. It made its debut a couple years ago at a GP from the Chinese or Japanese, can't remember who. It's Blue Moon. When these guys brought this deck to the Pro Tour, it was weird. It was really weird. They're like, okay, they're running Blood Moons in the main with a card that's never really seen play that much lately. It's the Shackles, like was it Vidalkin? Yeah, Shackles. It really hits their mana base, and that's what they like. That's why it's really, really good right now. Most of the decks now are playing P and Kieran, which if you want one, go pay a couple bucks. If you're gonna buy packs, just get the pre-con, and it's like a $15 P and Kieran, so you just get 2 free packs. So that's. But I think Blue Moon is gonna change, taking some out, some electrolyzes for other stuff.
There was a deck a couple weeks ago. I think it was. I actually have it written down here. It was I think it's Super IQ. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No. It was the Classic in Philadelphia. It was basically Blue Moon. I played more sources to get red though, but it ran like Roast and Flame Slash.
Yeah. Like people thought Flame Slash was going to like be just done. Like it was going to be discontinued basically. We got Rending Volley, which people loved. It was so good against Splinter Twin. That was one of the things that made it so popular. But now with Flame Slash, you have to have it against Eldrazi. And you said Roast. Yeah, perfect. Roast is so good.
Bye Reality Smasher.
You got to discard, but that's the price to play these days. But it's really good. What you'll learn with these types of decks is if you don't get the Blood Moon or the Ensnaring Bridge or something, the deck will overrun you and you will die. And that's what you don't want to happen. But let's run it through the gauntlet. White Blue Eldrazi, you bring in Stubborn Denial, counter their Blood Moon. You try maybe even counter your removal, but you just want to wait till Blood Moon. Disenchant, so you can Stubborn Denial, probably one of their removal spells, like their Roast or whatever. And then they're like, oh, they don't have anything, Disenchant, perfect. You run fetch lands, I can hit your white source, go get it. Red Blue brings in Chalice and Stubborn Denial. I talked about this in the first one. I think you don't bring in Chalice. A little too slow. And I put Chalice in some white blue decks because they run Worship, but I still like Chalice, especially in our meta, but Worship is really, really good. The red-green version, we'll make argument for this all day. Natural State.
Natural State's so good.
I would pick up my foils now. Just like you should with Storm Chaser, but maybe that card's kind of expensive. Ancient Grudge in the red-green, just the same. No, why bring in Ancient Grudge? No, I marked that out. Let's just scratch that. Ancient Grudge is poo-poo in this matchup.
Really?
Well, I brought it in. Well, I guess a lot of these Blue Moon decks are now working off Batterskull. And that's why I brought it in. And I guess if the deck's running Batterskull...
They can return it to the hand. Batterskull.
They can. But a lot of the time, they'll play it... They'll want to play it on 5. Because Eldrazi will have just a massive board that you want to block and do these other things. And that's why I think Eldrazi just...
I have to disagree because, I mean, Ancient Grudge, it's Artifact and Enchantment, right?
No.
It's just Artifact?
Just Artifact.
Oh, okay, that makes
sense. If it's Artifact and Enchantment, no, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just Artifact. That's why just Batterskull seems... That's not maybe like 3 I could maybe see 1, 2 at the max. But the
I
colorless...
wouldn't run any more than 2.
Yeah, no more than 2. The colorless, what you'll see is the worst sideboarding one. They have chalices in main. Seems pretty okay, but like I said, I'll probably cut chalices. Spellskite, pretty good. It'll eat a flame slash, eat a good roast, get a good roasting. Like there's some, like that's an argument.
Ever since Splinterman got banned,
Spellskite has just got a little bit worse.
Yeah. Like,
Because I didn't know this, and we didn't bring this up in last, and Kiki Jiki is only target creature you control.
Really?
The blink. Restoration Angel. It's when it comes back in. What is it? It's you untap. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it blinks it.
It blinks it, and so it's only
something you control.
Only something you control. So people are saying maybe this is good right now for the meta. Like maybe the Splinter Twin, like Spellskite doesn't really ruin it like it was doing. Like Spellskite, like Kiki Jiki is a little slower, and we'll talk about with Coco, but we'll continue with Blue Moon. Blue Moon, what comes in is Spreading Seas. Seems really good.
Definitely Spreading Seas.
Spreading Seas, 100%. Seems amazing. Batterskull. Just more version of Batterskull. Blue Moon is at a pretty penny right now. And all these
I've even seen some Blue Moons run some copies of Stone Rain.
I've seen some run Vandal Blast, and that's why I put this here. But no, I'm really, really glad you brought it in Stone Rain. Because what I was talking about, the prison decks, because they're doing like, that's why Painter's Servant
is so good against Eldrazi.
Because people are wondering, they're doing red-white right now. Painter's Servant, I think it's banned in EDH. You choose a color, and all permanents now become that color.
All permanents, spells, and cards not in play.
So like Eldrazi, I think Ice still works. It helps Temple, but it just doing that. Yeah, because Temple only has 2 colorless for colorless Eldrazi spells. So it shuts off that. What they do is Stone Rain, Molten Rain, which is nuts. If you have some Molten Rains or know where some are, pick them up. Ghostly Prison, really good. We've seen a Ghostly Prison increase, but not that much. I think it's around 13, 14 now. It was around 8. Really good right now. I have my own build that I think is really good. And because I've been talking about this, people have been bringing this up for years. Instead of white-red with land destruction, white-black control, Painter Servant, you do that on white or green with Ghostly Prison, and you play an old card that I've watched Brian Kibler burn about 1,000 of them. He has a video where he burns them all. Lifebane Zombie.
Lifebane Zombie?
3/1 Intimidate for a 3-drop. Exile target green or white creature from someone's hand. Painter Servant. And then Ghostly Prison, whatever. You still do that. And then you sneak in that Lifebane Zombie.
It's not the worst, I guess.
Yeah, like they're doing what they're doing against you, just stripping their hand. Let's get back to Blue Moon. Blue Moon has a lot of stuff, but really expensive right now because a lot of the cards, like Shackles, kind of hard to pick up.
15 to 20.
Blood Moons.
40 to 50 bucks.
Hard to pick up. Tarns.
Tarns are just stupid.
110. People always talk about this. Every year they hit over 100. Last year, all of them except Marsh Flats at 100. That I'm pretty sure. Like Blue Moon is 1,400. Crazy expensive, but a good deck right now. I was playing Eldrazi and it 6-0'd me. Thank you, Chad. Now let's go to the next one. Lantern Control.
Oh my god.
Which I should have said after Affinity because it's basically its cousin. Worst deck to ever play against, and I know a lot of people in our meta probably won't know what it is. It wins off a card called Ghoul Caller's Bell and Codex Shredder. And you're like, wow, how does it win off these terrible, terrible, terrible cards? Well, you have an Ensnaring Bridge, like we talked about, and then you play Lantern of Insight. What uncommons from a long time ago? Uncommon from, the
Kamigawa block.
Kamigawa block. And so you have Ensnaring Bridge and Lantern makes you look at everyone's top card.
Yeah, players play with their top card revealed.
And you can shuffle, you pay whatever, and you shuffle. And you use Codex Shredder or Ghoul Caller's Bell to mill that good card so you give them a handful of bad cards. And that is what Lantern does. It has so much, just main board hate. Thoughtseize, Inquisition seems really good in the main.
This says 5th Dawn. I could have sworn it was from Kamigawa block.
Well, whatever. Well, game 1, you just have to get out Bridge. I think in every Lantern game, if you're not playing against control, you got to get out Bridge. But White Blue Eldrazi, let's go through the gauntlet. White Blue Eldrazi brings in Pithy Needle. You just hit one of them. Yeah, like it's real good.
Pithy Needle, your win con?
Stubborn Denial, your win con.
Yeah, I mean...
Recall. Hurkyl's Recall.
Return your
which
board.
what we thought, yeah, like you build up your board, and I think what you do is you just build up your board, and they're like, oh, I have an Ensnaring Bridge, it's going to help me. And you just, into their turn, recall, swing with Thought Nonce, Reality Smashers, the whole nine. I think that's probably your best play. Or, the card that makes me not play this deck, because I wanted to play it, Stony Silence. Because you just win. They have ways to deal with it, but it's a one-off. Or they run 2 or 3 copies of it.
I'm so shocked that any Lantern deck has gotten anywhere.
And that's the thing.
Like, every deck that plays white sideboards at least 2 copies of Stony Silence.
And it's not even for Lantern. Like, no one...
It's not for Lantern.
You're not thinking, man, I really got to put Stony Silences in for Lantern. I got that rough matchup. No.
Gotta shut down them Gold Color spells.
You got Affinity, you got Tron, but man, these Stony Silences are just really good. Red Blue, they do Stubborn Denial, same thing. Win con, Hurkyl's Recall at the end of turn. Ratchet Bomb, probably on 1.
Probably on 1.
But it's according to, if you get to see their hand in any, like, Thought Knot or something, maybe even on 3. Because it's going to be a long game.
I mean, if you shut them down on 1 and then shut them down on 3, I think it's good.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. Because how Lantern wins, it does only mill 1 card, but they do that every turn.
Every turn.
So like 2 or 3 cards a turn, which sounds awful. It is. So I'm glad you thought of that. Red Green Eldrazi, which is the favorite so far. Nature's Claim, if you're being that guy. Natural State, which we talked about, seems super.
Natural State just got so much better after Twin Ban.
It hits every single card you need to in this matchup. Ancient Grudge, pay 3, destroy 2 target artifacts. Seems fantastic. Colorless, they run Ratchet Bombs in main now too, so this is actually a good time for Colorless Eldrazi. Pithy Needle, you get some more Ratchet Bombs out the side if you're not running all of them, because a lot of them don't run both. And from the Lantern decks I've seen, I don't know what they bring in. Like, I really don't. I was looking, I was trying to find things. I really couldn't find.
Maybe, like, on the off chance, you can board in some Pyroclasms and maybe hit the Mimics on turn 2. Like,
I think I know. You probably bring in your Enchantment Hate.
Probably.
For Stony Silence.
Well, that too.
Well, all of it.
All of that.
Because all these cards, other than Stubborn Denial and Recall and Nature's... A lot of these cards, you need your Enchantment Hate. But I think it's a race. But Lantern...
And Lantern Control loses that race.
Yeah, if they don't get bridge. But Lantern's going for $1,000 right now.
That's absurd.
And that's why people won't build it, and that's why it's not in a lot of metas. It's because you maybe from Affinity to Lantern, but there's no deck you can really build.
You can't really transition.
That's why I really like Scape Shift, because then I'll have Cryptics, I'll have Remands, I'll have Fetches, I have Shocks. Yeah, then I can just build more things. If Lantern, I always think this is something funny. I really hope Wizards come out and say, okay, this is ban day. We're tired of everyone whining. We're banning cranial plating. Or like, I'm banning, like, just, we hate our community. Screw all of you. We're done. Like, don't whine anymore. This will happen again. Just like, this is what you do for being mean. And then just, oh god, the community would be in such uproar.
There'll be riots in the streets.
Yeah, it's just a flat out race. Deck I find a lot better right now. With Slaughter Twin gone, a lot of people said the same thing, but now with this quick meta, Living End has gotten a lot better. And a lot more expensive. A lot more expensive. You could buy the deck with lands and everything, probably for like $300? Probably around that. Like if you're trying to do a different version, or like a pretty good competitive, $300. But
Living
now
End has a special place in my heart.
I know, me too. The deck's so fun. And it is the like #1 Travis Woobrew, T. Woobrew. He'll talk about it as he tells people he didn't make it.
He made like the weird 79-80 card version.
Yeah, like he says that he didn't make it, that other people did. He sold it, but he's the one that won a GP with it. Now that's when Extended was still a thing before they announced Modern as a set. But Living End, really good, can board wipe them. I think it's really instant speed board wipe.
3.
Yeah, so good. Even earlier if you get more Simian Spirit Guides, but you want Eldrazi to overextend a little bit, board wipe as many creatures as you can. You play X amount of Fulminators. Fantastic. You talked about before Avalanche Rider, which is really, really good. Maybe even both right now, because it can hit a lot of Affinity lands, it can hit a lot of Tron lands, now it can hit Eldrazi. Seems both.
What I like about Avalanche Rider is that it hits basics too.
And Eldrazi, you need to know, and this is the biggest thing, you need to know what you're playing against. So when I play against someone, I try to know how many basics they're running. I know white-blue runs 3, runs 1 of Plains, what I love, Waste, and Island. But red-blue runs 8 or 9 just islands. So if I know I'm going against white-blue, then I'm like, okay, they just played this one basic. Let's lock out. Let's lock them out of that color. Like if anything happens, Fulminator's really, really good. Like we said, Living Ends, Beast Within's really, really good in this matchup because you can end of their turn. Beast Within, probably because you're gonna. If this goes to a late game, Eye is really good to hit, so they don't have to tutor up in the end. But Temple's still a really good play, and then Living End on your turn. Seems pretty good. It seems like Living End has gotten a lot better.
Really has.
A lot better. It's gotten a lot better. But White-Blue, I guess all Eldrazi, has a way to combat it. White-Blue has Stubborn Denial, which this is why Living End used to be really bad, because Splinter Twin decimated it, because any Living End player will tell you they hate counterspells. If you remand a Living End,
oh my god, that is the worst feeling.
That is
ever.
the worst.
It's the worst feeling ever.
That hurts me when I see that. Like, I feel bad, like donating money to that person. Like, I'm so sorry this just happened to you. It's real. Gosh, Stubborn Denial, super solid play. Rest in Peace. That's the main reason they'll tell you they run Beast Withins for stuff like that. Really, really good play. I haven't talked about it yet because this is actually the deck that seems really good against All Is Dust, because Eldrazi Temple fuels it out. We used to see it play in Tron sideboards, right?
Yeah, some Tron, some mainboard Tron.
Oh gosh, and that's a weird time, but
that was a weird time of Magic.
White Blue, I think you bring in Chalice if you do run that. Worship? No, because then they'll probably just board wipe. Yeah, and then the Chalice versions. Red Blue, you bring in your Chalices, Stubborn Denials. Red Green, most flavorful. Chalice, Relic, which you can just leave up until they, on the stack of Living End, their graveyard. And then All Is Dust again. I want to see that. You said that too before.
I want to see. I haven't seen many of the Eldrazi decks cast All Is Dust yet.
Probably because it is pretty cheap right now, but it's a little hard to get a hold of.
I wouldn't say that. Wasn't it MM2?
No,
it wasn't.
We'll check. It was. Yeah, you were right. MM2. It was in Rise, and there was a promo, and going around $10, which I think is
it's fair.
Yeah, it sees a lot of Commander play.
Yes, unfortunately.
That's one of the bigger reasons, but really, really good. All Is Dust. Want to see it played. I guess it's easier than what I thought, because I just thought it was a promo and the one that was printed. Colorless Eldrazi just has Relic, but also they have the Chalices in the main. They have some of their own stuff. Still pretty good. But Living End has an even better, I think, sideboard than all of the other ones. Beast Within, more Beast Withins. Fairy Macabre.
Oh, so good.
It's a powerhouse.
I love that card so much.
You're bringing in a lot of the creature decks to get their best creature because you don't care. You want them to bring back Endless One. You want Endless One to be hit by Living End because it just goes back.
But you don't want that Reality Smasher back.
You don't want their Smasher, or even Thought Knot.
Even, I don't know, World Breakers.
Drowner and Hope.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely getting exiled.
Gosh, a World Break. But it's really crazy, and you can get these signed because RK Post has a lot on the East Coast. So you could always get these signed, which would be really cool in a good Living End deck. Jun Charm. 2, either what you brought up that I forgot. A good Pyroclasm effect, because that's one of them. I put it on here for exile in their graveyard, because that's why Living In had a problem too, is when creature decks, they get their creatures back too if you're Living In more than once.
I mean, if you have to do an emergency Wrath effect on turn 3, and if you don't want those to come back.
Yeah, and that's why Fairy Macabre, and that's why Jun Charm, really, really good. Bajuka Bog, some C play, but Jun Charm just seems a lot better. And you don't see that card anymore. You rarely see the shards, conflux, whatever, the charms. I put in also with Living In, they bring in Shrink Maul, which is Shriek Maul,
So good.
non-black, non-artifact. Go ahead, and then you'll get another effect. It can still hit Reality Smasher because Reality Smasher only targets spells, not abilities. Really, really good. Shrink Maul.
I've even seen, because of with the resurgence of Affinity, I've even seen some Living Index start putting like damping matrix.
Yeah, like that's I'm glad you brought that up. Ingot Chewer?
Ingot Chewer.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good one too.
There was a list at Philadelphia too, where that crazy Blue Moon deck was that played 2 or 3 mainboard Ingot Chewers.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, this is really weird. But I think this Living In has a really, really good matchup against Eldrazi. If you're a budget person wanting to get into Modern or already playing Modern and want to have a good way to combat the Eldrazi, I think Living In is your best choice. It's really fun if you haven't played it. The deck is really fun. You're playing commons and uncommons that cycle. Fulminators, the deck's going for $500-$600.
You're drawing cards, and then you're just pooping out creatures.
It's really weird. I love the deck. I think Living In probably up on that matchup. Because all these I try to put up on these matchups to help you. This is probably the most popular version of one of the decks that are on this list. It's Coco. It won GP Detroit.
Just X Coco.
Yeah, just X Coco. Super good because a lot of them can infinite life gain, which you can do that on one.
I absolutely love these like toolbox decks.
Like we've talked about this. Filling out these lists at big tournaments seems terrible. I'm sorry for you for having to do this, but that's the day we live in.
Hours early, just to make sure you fill out your deck registration.
The Eldrazi player can show up 10 minutes before and just write them all down, but no, you have so many one-ofs, and you have to go there before. That's the most killer thing for me. But it can like I said, it can stabilize at 1, and it seems like it would be like kind of Twin would, because Twin could counter here and there, I guess, but it seems like
boom out of nowhere.
Yeah, and you would always see that sometimes from people. I like the games Twin played where it was like into turn 3 Deceiver or Pestermite, on turn 4 Splinter Twin. Yeah, that's cool. But I liked top decks. I like seeing the late game Splinter Twin being able to do it like.
Oh, it's turn 16, and I just kind of get there
with Desolate Lighthouse and what's the red blue god?
Oh, Keranos.
Yeah, Keranos, super sick. I think most expensive god right now. The sideboards, white blue has removal in the main, dismembers and paths. My favorite thing I've ever done was I was playing red blue Eldrazi, and I turn 1 Gutshot their bird with a Grafdigger's Cage. And they conceded on turn 1. And if you're listening, I am so sorry, but that was one of the coolest moments of my Magic career. Run Stubborn now. White-blue does 2-hit. Cocos seems really good against Cord. And maybe their other path, but you don't wait until they try to win. And it would seem really, really sick if they had like a Resto out and they're courting for the win, and you counter and path the Resto. That seems like a good kick to the crotch. If I've ever seen one, seems great. And that's why we talk about Dismember. That's another one that's next. Really good. All those decks we've talked about. Same, just these creature decks. Coco, people think it's more of an aggro deck. It's not. It's a control deck. So they're trying to put these creatures out that are, like you said, utility for the time being to deal with whatever deck they're playing against. Kind of like what Pod used to do, but this is a more resilient type of Pod. Yeah, I think all his decks would just be amazing.
I have to bring this up. I saw this. This was like last week on our stream. We're playing Modern, and round 1 we have Blue Red Storm versus Abs and Company. Okay. Danny, never having played Storm before, is like, perfect time. I'll try it in a tournament.
Oh goodness.
Turn 3 Eidolon of Rhetoric by the Coco player. Can cast more than once.
Yeah, scoop. Is it a scoop?
Yeah, he just scooped.
Well, yeah, like that's. I think
that's what I love about these like toolbox decks.
Running the main.
I'm gonna cord for the silver bullet.
We talked about like big game hunter. That's really. Does that have madness?
Goblin's just it has madness too.
Maybe reprinted. Maybe even know, but there's tons. The toolbox is wide open in that deck. That seems like a really fun deck. But red blue, same thing as white blue. Dismembers, Gutshot. Please play Gutshot. Even if you Gutshot a bird, a Noble Hierarch,
most underestimated cards, I think.
An Ewit, hit.
Infect. It's
So Malira. Oh yeah, that's what another thing. Viscera Seer. Is Malira? Oh,
I think Malira's a 2/2.
hit her with 2 gut shots. Stubborn Denial again seems really good. Red Green Eldrazi. This is the first time we talked about this card, and it seems like it may blow out this deck. Coco. Kozilek's Return.
Oh, it's so
This card is sweet. This card end of their turn, you're board wiping basically, or you're basically probably going to do it on turn 3.
yeah, it's so good.
But does Kozilek's Return hit a Malira? Because Malira's power and toughness is what?
2/2.
Okay, good. So it does hit it. But Gut Shot doesn't unless you have to. Dismember. Red Green has Dismembers, Bolts, more Bolts,
More bolts.
Endbringer. I think
Endbringer is...
we talked about it. Endbringer for like the one. Maybe not Endbringer, but I think because it untaps during each upkeep or untap. It can deal 1 and then make creatures not block. I think it's really good just to ping stuff here and there.
It's a gut shot every turn.
It's a gut shot every turn. And like it would seem okay, but I think what we talk World Breaker seems really good for Gavany Township, some of their utility lands.
Oh man, I love
Yeah.
Warbreaker so much. Warbreaker's so good.
May switch to the red green version after this is all said and done. All is Dust, really really good, but we'll see when we see it cast.
I'm so like the white blue and the red green version. I'm so happy because they're bringing back the old paid lands.
Yeah, like, and that's one thing I'm
Our
glad
ways saw like a $10 jump.
I picked up 2 at $20 a piece,
That's a lot.
and now they're hovering around 12.
You know, I picked out a playset in my Ice Age.
And that's see that's the craziest thing. The pain lands are now a tri-land, and I know what I can't believe you found it.
I saw the price and I was like, whoa, what if we have it in our drawer and we have a catalog system and it would just sit in there with all the bulk.
And that's crazy, and that's why I think why shops are really good right now is all these stuff that are in bulk binders. Please not be the shops that I go to and then buy you out on endless ones and mimics for $1.50 a piece and just hose you out, because you got to know that if you're going to be a good magic shop and if you're going to do this, be like how the Goblin Traders is. Look up things, or God, please just don't even put up a price and then just look it up whenever someone wants to buy it. Like you said, the Pain Lands, they're seeing a lot more price increase, more than what the old ones. The Chivalries are now like $4, $5, $6.
That blew my mind.
That was a good one because Red Blue was the biggest one. That's the one that won the Pro Tour. That's the one that people liked. Carplusion Forest, now seeing play. I think it's played in the Coco. No, it's not. I'm a liar. Yeah. It's played in the red green. They're going for around $20, close to that. It's running. Gosh, I forgot it again. What is that red green land that Tron plays?
Grove of the Burn Willows.
Grove of the Money Willows, because that card is incredible, close to $100,
which is
insane.
It's absurd.
But that seems really good. Colorless Eldrazi only brings in Gut Shot. Bakoko sideboard. They run Fiend Hunter in the main, which we have a love for because we played it with that in standard or against it. Double white and a generic exile target creature, and it doesn't come back until you get rid of Fiend Hunter. So you get rid of an early game Mimic. Seems really good. Like that card's just really good. Path. You have your own paths, which we talked about. It may be okay. You have to choose your paths very wisely, just like life. And then you could also Thoughtseize. Coco runs a number of Thoughtseize, and then the one that I've been building up that last time I almost cried because I love it, Intrepid Hero, and I'm glad I said it right this time. They're saying it's a
Intrepid Hero is so funny.
2 generic and a white. It's a 1/1.
3-drop 1/1.
Terrible. It's out of like M13, M12, and you can tap it and destroy target creature with 4 power or greater.
I'm so glad. Like, when I first started playing Magic, we played with this card in Tabletop Magic.
It's so bad.
I'm just so glad that Intrepid Hero is finally seeing constructed play.
It has not
It's
even
so
seen
bad.
Commander play.
It's so bad.
Because you're like...
Well, I mean, Eldrazi, like, well, unless you're playing against red-green, has just Dismember. That's it.
Yeah, like...
Okay,
Dismember.
pay for life, kill my 1/1, that's fine.
But it seems like a gut shot in Intrepid Hero would seem really cool. But if they play Intrepid Hero, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a clap in the background and just clap it and saying, I'm so glad you played this card. But if you're not playing Intrepid Hero on the sideboard, you're doing Coco wrong because that card's sweet. Whole deck, $1,100. That's a lot. Now, I think, we're getting into the cheaper ones. We're getting into the Merfolk land, where they turn all your lands into islands. They're trying to convert you. It's around $600 right now. I think it's a really, really good matchup. But you got it. Merfolk has to get the Aether Vials out. And a lot of these decks, Bryce and I have personally played. We have. That's another reason why this is less a podcast, but getting the word out to all Magic the Gathering people. It seems like really well-timed Vapor Snags. Seems really good against this deck. Please.
They're land hate, I think.
Please. Don't Vapor Snag a Thought Not Seer. Please.
Unless you're winning the game.
Unless you're winning the game. Or, yeah, like, if you want to get it out of the way, yeah, like, they're at 1 life, and you just want to hit a creature, so Vapor Snag, you win. Dismember, really good, but like you said, Spreading Seas, full on, great card. Turns it into the island. It's a cantrip for you. It's devotion. That's why another Seas Claim is going really well right now. 1 blue. It was raining. I think it was 8th, and then Urza's Legacy. Really good. Another reason it turns it into an island. I think it should be seen more in the main board. People don't play more than 2 right now. I think that's a mistake with the Affinity, Lantern, Tron, Eldrazi running around. Super good. Let's go through the gauntlet. White blue has all the good removal in the main, like it's past, dismembers, just the good stuff like it runs. Pithy Needle on Aether Vial. I seem to caught this last time. I put in too much artifact hate for their stuff. Pithy Needle, their Aether Vial seems really good, but I don't think I'd bring in Stony Silence like I put down, because Pithy Needle seems a lot better. If they did turn, let's say you're on the play, or you're on the draw, and they turn 1 Aether Vial, nope, I totally messed it up. You're on the play, turn 1, pass to their turn 1, your turn 2, Stony Silence, and then they cry because now their Aether Vial suck. But All Is Dust, I really want to see it. Please play All Is Dust and wipe a board of Merfolk.
Please play All Is Dust. It would make me so happy.
The red-blue version runs their same removals in the main. And
do you bring in Gut Shot?
I have it on here. Maybe it hits Silvergill. Makes Scourgecatcher sack. It may be a good tempo play, but it seems nyeh. It seems nyeh.
I just want to see some Merfolk player get super salty because you brought in Gut Shot, and it seems like such a bad idea.
Yeah, like it seems like you caught him so off guard. But that's
like the most important 2/1s per red. Why would you do that? It's because you have Curse Catchers and the other one.
Silvergill had that.
Yeah, that one.
Red-green Eldrazi seems like the best one for the Merfolk matchup. Kozilek's returns, instant speed, Pyroclasm, real good. Dismember, number of bolts, more bolts.
And bolts again.
Natural state, like we will preach. This is natural state.
I said this since day one.
You put it up.
State was released.
It's a lot better.
It got better with Twin Ban.
With Twin Banning now, it
so
hits
good.
a lot of things.
Hits everything relevant.
I think I would bring in even against Spellskite. That may even be a better thing for like Boggles.
It hits everything relevant.
Yeah, like it hits a really, really good cards. Ancient Grudge, Nature's Claim if you don't want to go natural state, which is I don't know. All Is Dust, please do it. We want to see it. Colorless, Dismembers in the main, and then maybe Gut Shot. It seems like Fish has a really good matchup in this. And like I said, these are all really good matchups, and that's why I put it on.
I've even seen there was a list a couple weeks ago. It was playing the Wander Brine, the blue white.
Yeah. Wonder Wine Hub.
And it was playing Worship in the sideboard.
That's what some versions used to do for Path, but now with Worship, because you're going to be playing a lot of creatures. I think that's really good. People play that also for Choke, when Choke used to be a bit. Yeah, we haven't talked about Choke. Choke because you wanted. That's why Manamo. Like those are 2 really good. Wonder Wine Hub. It's some played in the only the blue versions. And when I first was building Merfolk, I'm like, why does it run Manamo? Do you know what it does?
Untaps legendary?
You know how many legendaries are played in Merfolk?
A lot.
0!
Wait. Really?
Name me a legendary that's in Merfolk.
Oh my god.
That's the thing!
Kira's not even in Merfolk.
Kira's not even...
She's a spirit.
Well, I guess it could untap Kira and you play it in the sideboard.
I was thinking of Lords. I wasn't thinking of legendaries.
Yeah, like, I guess you can untap... Yeah, so you can untap the Kira.
But can you?
Yeah.
Does it get countered?
No, it's if an opponent targets. I don't know. But it just... I'm like, I guess it's just an untapped blue source. But
so bad.
Merfolk brings in Seize Claims to turn off more lands. The games that I've played against testing, Seize Claims, you gotta have a number of Seize Claims, Spreading Seas, and Aether Vials to win the game. And creatures and lands. Merfolk's sitting at a good around 600-700. Aether Vials, Caverns are really expensive right now.
Oh my god, we forgot about Cavern again.
Yeah, Caverns really good. you brought it up. Curse catchers are only going up,
Oh my
and they're
God, I
like 15 to 20.
It makes me so angry that curse catchers that much.
Uncommon, and yeah, in Silver Girl is like
It's
$3 or $4.
Judge is familiar. A tribal judge is familiar.
So good. With the card that should be the most expensive, which is not. Master Waves, $3 or $4. The Lords, Master of the Poet Trident and Lord of Atlantis, $7 or $8.
That's another lord.
I think it's just a lot of cards that add up. Like, that's what I used to say about like different decks is all these cards, like they add up.
$10 a piece.
Yeah, and like then you got your big ones. But yeah, like it's a really good deck.
Mutavault's like 32.
Yeah, Mutavaults are insane. I think even some Merfolk decks should play Ghost Quarter. That seems pretty good right now. But you need the blue. The next deck we're going to talk about, because the rest, these were all that guy from Channel Fireball that Bryce is about to say his name.
Palavito Demarissa.
Yes. These are what I've chose in my testing and different things. This is the one we had to talk about. Storm. Steam's really good. It's because Storm is like how Bloom Titan and these Grishel brand. You're playing solitaire.
Storm is a more consistent Grishel brand.
I always called it Creature Storm because that's what your Grishel brand you're storming out. So if you get like the turn 3 because I think Storm can turn 2, right? Yeah. It'd be really really hard. It's because I remember Bloom Titan was like a 39% chance.
Like, I'm not gonna discount it, but like,
good luck.
Yeah.
Like Storm seems like a better way.
Such sketchy.
Like especially on the play, probably a 60-40 matchup, but you just got to combo out.
I don't like that.
I even changed that for my 80-20.
I know.
Storm used to be a lot better. Storm used to be a lot better, and Passive Flames has went up a lot, which
that Bloom, I didn't even know that was.
Yeah, Mythic from Innistrad. Basically, that's one of the reasons they win their game right now, because they just run Passive Flames.
I played Storm for like a period of a month, and I grew so bitter because it would just be like, I'm getting there.
You did that with Coco.
Brick.
I remember you did that with Coco because that's when I'm like, you're like, I just put Coco together. I'm like, oh, I just finished this new deck called Bloom Titan. I didn't know if you might have heard about it. And you're like, oh crap. White Blue Eldrazi has Stubborn Denial, one of their mana, like Manamorphose or something, because you can counter the Grape Shot. Not a smart idea, because it copies for each spell, so you have to. You're not going to be able to counter.
It makes a copy of Grape Shot.
It makes a copy of it, so just counter one of their cantrips to start it out. Because if they're
Metamorphose is probably the perfect one to do.
Because if you see that means they're about to start the Storm count, which that's just the best way.
If you interrupt that, that's so. They've spent their mana and they can't get anything out of it.
Yeah, which is really good. Rest in peace, really good. Red Blue Eldrazi, Chalice seems pretty good on 1.
Yeah.
2 could just kill him.
If you get both Chalices out, then
you just
done.
kill him.
I mean,
yeah.
Is there anything in the deck over 3 other than Past in Flames?
Is Pyromancer's Ascension 2?
It's 2.
No, like Goblin, Electromancer's 2. It's Past in Flames. Empty the Warrens is 3 but we'll get in that in a minute if they do play it. So Chalice, Stubborn Down, the Red Blue. Red Green has their own Chalices. That's all about it. Colorless has 0. Maybe probably their Chalices in the main. Like you're gonna leave those in. If you can get Chalice out,
I think
really good.
I hate to say this, but out of all those decks, maybe Mono Brown has the best matchup
because they have the main board.
Because they have more copies of Chalice than the other decks. Main board.
Storm has some Blood Moons in the sideboard, which is really really good, like we've talked about. But I think that too slow in the. You don't want to care about them.
No.
You want to do what your deck's supposed to and storm out and win. Empty the Warrens, and you have a funny story about this.
Yeah, if you watch GP Detroit, it was in the semifinals. Red Green Eldrazi, the most fun version in our opinion.
Yeah, it's really good.
Dude storms out. I think it's game 2, maybe even game 1. I'm not even sure. And he's been down all game. Like this.
And this is it.
Red Green Eldrazi's been pounding him, and that was bad.
That's fine.
And it's just he storms off, craps out a ton of tokens with Empty the Warrens, and then Kozilek's Return
and cry, and I would scoop, drop, and sell Storm. And that's the funniest thing, going to these bigger tournaments and seeing people like scrubbing out and saying, "Here, I'm done." Like, that means these vendors are getting this deck half price.
Yeah.
That means they're getting these decks we talked about for like $500. Like, yeah, that's fantastic. Blood Moon, really good, but I think Storm I would just have to watch it more. Seems like it has a pretty good matchup, but for the price, it doesn't have a good matchup. $700.
$700 of uncertainty is what you're getting.
You're getting $700. You're getting Scalding Tarns, Ascensions, Past in Flames. But you got, I guess we forgot about this. Like, G probes are like 6-7 right now. They're crazy. They're crazy.
Simian Spirit Guide, are they still like $20?
What?
Simian Spirit Guides?
They were like close to 15 last time I checked. But they also run like Metamorphosis. I think Metamorphosis is a really good pickup. The last time it was printed was MM1 as a common, I'm pretty sure, as an uncommon. Really, really good card altogether. I think Storm, it seems like it has a good matchup, but I'll have to see more. But just to throw it out there, you come to me and say, Lane, I spent all my tax money. I bought one pair. I bought one shoe. It was $1,000. I couldn't get enough to get another one. I have $1,000 in the shoe. I can't spend it on Magic right now. The shoe, I gotta sell it, or I have to get this one shoe. It's on my mantle at the house. What do I do if I want to get in competitive Magic and beat these Eldrazi decks? I got something for you. I say I got Mono Green Stompy, which I will give to. I want to build it for people. I always try to build it. It's the #1 recommended deck, in my opinion, to say, hey, I'm trying to get into Modern. What should I build? I don't have that much money. Build Stompy. Used to be Infect. Infect has gotten a little expensive. Hierarchs used to be $20, $15. That was your most expensive thing, but with Ink Moss being $40 to $50, Noble Hierarchs being $40, really, really tough right now. Might of Volcrosas are like in the $15 range because they were only printed that one time. So Green Stompy, I lost to it 2-0 or 2-1 at the Open. It was sick. And if you don't know, like, the deck is so good, and Bryce especially likes it.
Leatherback Baloth.
Yeah, you really like Leatherback Baloth.
Strangleroot Geist.
And I forgot to talk about this before. You like Leatherback Baloth. My first was Woolly Thoktar.
Oh my god!
Like,
I bought the Johnny versus Nicol Bolas
Yeah!
Steel deck, and it had Woolly Thoktar. It's so good.
In this deck, don't play Woolly Thoktar.
No, don't. You can't.
You can't. Leatherback Baloth. Really good.
Just as good.
Triple green, 4/5. You want the devotion, but you're playing Experiment Ones, Strangle Roots, Dry Militants, Colonian Tuskers.
Aspect of the Hydra.
If I didn't say already, Strangleroot Geist. And we also talked about all these cards have really cool promos. So you can foil this deck out for probably close to nothing. But Rancors right now, $6, $7, $8 a piece. Really crazy. This deck goes for $75. Even for standard, that's nuts right now. For any format, that's really good. White, like, the Eldrazi has some stuff for it, but not that much. Well, we'll go through it. White, blue.
This is a very awkward to play against, too.
It is, because you got to block so precisely.
I mean, Experiment 1 is literally going to evolve off of anything you play.
Or regenerate.
And you can regenerate it.
And that's, you remove 2, like...
Colonian Tusker is a turn 2, 3/3. Strangleroot Geist, Undying.
It's just, it's really
And turn 3 of a 4/5? What?
The deck's really good. White, blue has Gut Shot to combat Dry Militant.
Maybe Experiment 1.
Put that Strangleroot Geist off a turn in mid-combat. Stubborn Denial, you want to have the Ferocious because they may have the mana up, but you want to counter what we said, Rancor, Aspect of Hydra. They usually win games off that. Forgot from the first one, they run Vines of Hastwood, and you probably will never counter Immunogenic Growth. Probably not, but if it's for the win, yeah, go ahead. Spell Scout is a really good block, and then you can move some of the spells onto Spell Scout. I've done it once with a Rancor. It was amazing. Dismember is really good for that. Can take out all of their creatures. You also have your main board removal. Same with red, blue, Eldrazi. You got the main board removal. Maybe Chalice on one. Seems a little slow. Especially if you're on the draw. If you're on the play, maybe. But Gut Shot, maybe.
For what?
Gut Shot?
For which deck?
Red, blue? Well, Red Blue also has
an... I like bringing Gut Shot on against this deck.
Red Blue also has an X5 that Eilern can block all day. With Vile Aggregate.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that card's so good.
Tarmogoyf?
Yeah, it's Eldrazi Tarmogoyf. Stubborn Denial. Red Blue. More than likely, but... yeah. Like, it's really... Like, you can't really sideboard that well. But Red Green can, because it has...
Red Green... Oh my god! It just seems like, even though it's like low on the list, and as far as like
It's high in our hearts.
Eldrazi goes, like it's just set. It just seems like it has so many answers.
The Kozilek's returns in the main, kills a lot of their creatures, but you gotta watch out for their Tuskers and Leatherback Balos. Dismembers to hit the other two. Chalices maybe a little slow. Bolts, and I want to see that all as dust. Colorless Eldrazi, maybe Chalice has Dismember. Spellskites maybe, and the gut shots. Mono green has Feed the Clan, which if they don't have Baloth out or anything that can trigger their first, they just gain 5 life, which is huge against Eldrazi. But you reminded me what the Ferocious does. I completely forgot. How much
Makes
life?
it even bigger. 10 life.
Which is insane. Like, so good. That's so good because you want to gain that life to combat, because they're not doing infinite damage. They're doing increments of big damage. So if you one turn just can basically fog them really good. I got some other cheap budgety builds that I've been going through. Try to hear me correctly. It's called 8-Whack. Not 8-Rack. 8-Whack.
With a W.
With a W. It refers to goblins, and it's a cool name because it plays, what's the old one?
Goblin Bushwhacker?
Goblin Bushwhacker and Reckless Bushwhacker, which I've played in a Burning Tree Emissary aggro deck, which is really good. I'm going to go on a little side tangent here. Me and one of the guys from the shop, we've been trying to brew this deck for a while. And then the Pro Tour happened, and then I got on Eldrazi. But they interviewed Andrew Brown, who's one of the top 8 guys with Red Blue that helped build the deck. And they said, we know you play Eldrazi now, but is there any other cool deck you want to see, like you want to test out? And he goes, man, I saw a guy turn 2 guy in the early rounds of Modern. He goes, he turned 1 Wild Nikado and turned 2 4 Burning Trees into a Reckless Bushwhacker. He's like, it was amazing. And that's some of the things, like, that's a really cool thing. In the 8-Whack, it's basically goblins, and you bring in the other Eldrazi's, bring in some of the stuff they did, like the removal here and there, like probably not the Stubborn Denials, because, well, I guess a good Goblin Grenade. Like, there's some things, Goblins, it's a cheaper version, it's under $100, probably with the Legion Loyalist buyout, now that it's like close to 15, I think, or like 10, I know, probably a little over 100. The deck probably needs some more sideboard. It brings in Goblin Chieftain, a deck that we hate/love. 8-Rack. You can build a good budget version for $50.
That seems about right.
It seems a bit like you got the.
Like, that's reasonable. Like,
what is it? Raven's Crime and stuff like. Wrench Mind is really good. Yeah, like
Despise.
You got all those really, really good. Like the most. It's also the most expensive deck on here with not budget. It's $1,500 because you got Liliana's, you got Bridges, Thoughtseizes, Inquisitions, which are. I'm still waiting for those to go down because I want some.
Yeah,
but they are still expensive right now.
Don't know why it's so high though.
And last night when I was preparing for everything, I was getting ready to go to bed, and I remember that the last minute I forgot a deck, and I ran back over, and I'm like, I gotta write this down, and it's Tokens. And Tokens is one of those decks that had a really good transition, because we talked about all these decks had to make a transition to go to the meta, and I'll do a rant on that in a minute. Tokens took out Arioch Champions, which whenever you can take out expensive cards,
it's so good.
You're really happy. Because that card went from like $18. I went back just to check it. I bought it for $18 in January of last year. Now it's like $50. It's a Soul Sisters card. It's double white, pro red and black. Whenever a creature is played or enters the battlefield, you gain a life. Which is really bad against Eldrazi because can't block. And you don't care. They don't care if you gain a life when they play Reality Smasher.
Yeah, it's $50.
Yeah, and it's $50, and it got replaced with Phyrexian Arena, which I didn't even know was Modern legal. I thought it was just Commander. I thought it was Legacy, but I thought it was just a card playing the Commander because you don't care to lose a life to put out blockers, and you want to draw removal for the Reality Smasher and stuff like that. The one thing that I wanted to teach from this is that you can still play against Eldrazi. All these other places are not, like in California, I've heard other shops, some of these shops weren't able to fire because of so many people giving up, because they're like, I can't play Modern because Eldrazi. I can't do this. I think this is a really bad time right now because of, well, this deck's being the top. I've heard of places that used to do 50, 60 people in games, and now they won't even fire even their Modern tournaments, which we haven't seen that because now we just have half our people playing Eldrazi, basically. it's a really good time to play Modern. I think there's a bunch of different decks. I think Eldrazi, a lot of people, it's a lot of the meta. It may be $1,000, but you can get a lot of that out of the packs, like you talked about. Yeah, you can open an Oath pack.
Go to F&M.
Yeah, go to F&M. Like it's
play
so
standard.
It's so, and you can get how I built the deck, and I haven't told you this. Did you know how long it took me to build Eldrazi?
Probably a week.
A night.
What night?
One night. Because I came here on an F&M, which is it's the most popular night. I was at work. One of the guys was like, "Hey, you want to pick up 4 eyes?" Not really. They're like $50-$60 right now, and he's like, "Come on, just pick them up." I'm like, "Okay, I got balls. We'll do it." And he picked up legacy stuff, which was perfect for me. Yeah, that's fine. And he picked up other stuff I really didn't want to get rid of, but I'm like, I'll put this deck together. And then I came here, and it was all the standard players and some modern players, but I'm like, I got a Mimic here and there. I got an Endless one here and there. And I finished the whole deck, except I forgot to put Reality Smashers. But the only things I didn't pick up were Thought Knots. And I got those like the next day or whatever. I got those really soon after. Reality Smashers, I just completely forgot. And then got them in like a week. But for every single card I picked up, Temples, people were lining up because they're $10-$12 right now. A lot of these cards, it says 1,000, but you can get from packs, from people, from different places. Look, people would love to, and that's the thing. People want to get rid of these cards right now. I'm being a moron and trying to full out the deck because I say if it doesn't get banned, I have a lot of money. And that's just the thing. Get out, play Modern. Tons of cheap decks, tons of expensive decks if you're that type of guy. Or woman. But there's tons of things you really need to get out there. You can find us at Goblin Traders on Twitter. Or me personally at Lane the Main. Or Lane Johnson at my Facebook page. Love to talk to you. Just message me, tweet at me. I'll talk to you. And if anything, if you want to argue, I would love to with you and put you down and put you in your place. Seems fun. But now let's get to a lighter note.
But before we go, one thing.
One more thing.
GP Melbourne. There was a deck that placed 8th.
Placed 8th, so made top 8. What'd it do?
No, Eldrazi placed 1, 2, and 3, obviously.
Okay.
It was Living End, there was Company. Squeezed in at 8!
What?
Dredge Zombie Infestation.
Get out of here.
I swear to God.
Wait, so what? It
just plays like Golgari, Grave Trolls, and Stinkweed Imps, and the card Zombie Infestation.
I hear a lot of talk about this, and I haven't seen it true because I haven't really traveled that much on the foreign, going to these different countries in the shops in the West Coast. That each part, West Coast plays a lot of different decks than the East Coast does, and Europe, and like we see with Blue Moon with Japanese and Chinese, it's their thing. Their metas are so different. And now we see this, which actually sounds really fun, and I'm going to look into it, because that deck seems awesome. Get out there, do what we do. I'm not saying that we're perfect at it, but try different decks. Because now, now that I'm playing Eldrazi, and I'm playing against these different decks, I know, okay, what they need to do to get out of this certain situation, what they need to get, and how to beat them, or try to, it's just a really fun format right now. I know you didn't like Modern at the beginning of this, Bryce, but hopefully now you're more soothed. Or you're hoping for a ban. Because now everybody wants a ban.
I feel like if we have about a month before
the announcement.
Less than a month for the announcement.
Because this may be one of the weird times
I say if you're close, just play Devil's Advocate. Build Eldrazi.
Do it. It's so fun. And you make people mad, and it's so fun. But don't do it to make people mad. But
don't do it to make people mad. No.
But because here's what I did. I trade all the time. I can sell it to. I can just buy out from a shop or an online, because any smart shop local won't buy that deck the day it gets banned. But online, get rid of it. If you don't, then you have the top tier deck that you can
sit there in Card Kingdom with it in the
just in the cart. But this will be
and wait for them to make the announcement.
This will be one of the weird times where they would not ban. There's a lot of conspiracies that they won't ban it because it's not before the Pro Tour.
Let's just talk about what cards are going to get banned.
Well,
if
they get banned, if it happens now, which this will be one of the rare times that it doesn't happen before the Pro Tour, like in February, it'll probably be people say they won't do they want to sell expeditions. They don't want to have an expedition that's really cheap because then people won't maybe buy back, because now a lot of packs are being sold because I would love to play an Expedition Eye of Ugin in my deck.
And Seth Manfield actually put out an article today. I think Wizards, if they can avoid it, I don't think they want to hit Tron.
Yeah, that's because Tron's at a really good place. People thought it was going to be the best. Hit a really expensive spike. Now it's settling a little bit. Eye of Ugin can get stuck in your hand as legendary. Temple, it was printed as an uncommon, but or uncommon in MM2. I really think that's the one because it stops turn 2 Thought Knot altogether. It stops a really, it's really good because people forget it's also on abilities too. It's 2 colorless because you can use it on Displacer, Obligator. It's really, really good. And yeah, it is. That's why people are saying some of the creatures. Like there's a rumor saying it's not going to be one of the mans. Yeah, Mimic. Endless One, go ahead, ban it. I don't care. Get it out of here.
If any creature needs to be banned, it's Mimic.
Thought Knot's really good. If they don't ban a land, they're
Thought Knot can go into any deck though.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Eldrazi is starting to see play out of Eldrazi decks. Mimic's always good on curve, or not Mimic. Endless One's always good on curve. Mimic probably won't see in the other decks. Thought Knot's seen played in Black White Death and Taxes because it exiles instead of just taking it from their hand. And they're seeing good interaction with other cards, which you may not understand or may not know. Tide Hollow Scholar takes a card out of their hand and exiles it, but they get it back when Tide Hollow dies or leaves the battlefield or whatever. And then what you do is you do Wasteland Strangler and you process it. So Tide Hollow on 2, turn 3 Wasteland Strangler, putting the card back in the graveyard so they don't get it, and then kill one of their creatures.
Super good.
That's really good. The way Eldrazi, I think Eldrazi, I think we should wait until it morphs to the meta. People are also saying when Wizards came out and said, we want Modern, we want 2 things not to happen. Diversity, we want diversity and not that quick decks because we don't want Legacy. But they don't want that quick. So they used to say it was turn 4, but there's some decks that you say, well, what about Infect and all these other things? That's a 7% chance. You need to calm yourself. So that's a 7-8% chance. And they're well, they banned Twin. Twin was a diversity thing. And you say, well, it was. It was 10-13%, but Eldrazi is 70%. But it's really hard because we said at the beginning, not that many standard cards usually get played in Modern, let alone make a deck around all basically the good creatures that came out.
26 to 30.
Yeah, which is
standard
nuts.
Cards.
So good. That's so good.
And in Legacy.
It's making them sell cards, and that's another I was talking about a couple minutes ago. That it's a fan theory, or it's a theory that they're waiting till next year, until February, because right before the Pro Tour you can ban it. It's now rotated. Or about to rotate. They'll quit printing it and they won't sell as many packs. Because think about if they don't ban it, people will go nuts over boxes of BVZ and Oath of getting these now the $100 Thought Knots, which will not happen. But now I think that's where we're gonna end it. But we have one more little thing that I did with Bryce in the last one, but I'll do with you guys now. It's trivia. The most cards in a set, and you're thinking, okay, if the average is 220, 270. And usually, I'll do this with Bryce every week. I'll come up with some trivia questions, but he's already heard them. So the average 220 on a small set, 270-ish on a big set. The biggest one was 5th edition, which is 429. Oh my God, that's 2 tiny sets. That's Born and I think Journey together.
It's 429 individual cards in one set.
Crazy amount, and the least amount of cards in a set is under 100, which is nuts. It's 78. And I know you're laughing right now because Bryce is, and someone corrected me and saying, well, it's not the smallest set, and it's Arabian Nights. It has 78, really tiny. Commander sets almost in their own, new cards that come out in Commander sets have their own cards, 25, 30, I think 25, that come out with new cards. They almost come out more than what Arabian Nights did. Good God. I was corrected. Don't count this as a set. Zendikar Expeditions has 45. But I say, show me the packs of Zendikar Expeditions that I can buy. I can buy Arabian Nights, but I think that's it. We got everything out of the way. Next week, we're going to be talking about spoilers. That'll be super fun. Cards that we'll see play in what format? Commander, Standard, probably Modern too, or definitely Modern. So you can find us at
Goblin Traders
on Twitter, or Goblin Traders Facebook, or personally, Lane Johnson, or if you want to talk to Bryce, he'll probably talk to you or send you to me on Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter, I'm at Lane the Main, MAIN, and that'll do it for this first podcast. Hope you enjoyed.